Hey everybody, welcome to another Beastman review. Today we're going to be taking a look at some customs I made for a dear friend of mine. He's just as much into Pokemon as I am. So I figured, you know what, let me do a couple little customs for him. And I did my own little take on each character, and I will go into the background behind why I chose certain things with it. Now, as we see, we got Articuno, Marowak, Dragonite, Goldeen, Charizard, and Sandshrew. Now, Sandshrew, let me move them all off to the side. Now, what I went with Sandshrew, I wanted to go with a more urban flair with him. So instead of, your, standard sand block, look with the original one and the black eyes, I went with a gray. Pretty much the whole body's gray, lighter gray on his claws, on both his hand and his feet, and I went with the blue eyes. It really kind of makes the gray kind of look more urbanized. So I thought maybe that, would be a nice look for him. And at the end of everything, I mean, in all honesty, I think it looks fantastic. Also, the tail is a little dented, but that kind of goes with the look of it, being, from a city, possibly getting caught under like some type of construction machinery, or, being mistaken for concrete. So I thought that was a cool little look with him. Next, we have Goldeen, and what was running through my mind at the time of coming up with the color scheme for her was something very tropic. So, very, very tropic colors. I decided to go with blue. I left this unpainted, so it kind of stood out more. But then you have the pink, the red flare. I left the horn orange, and it's got very lime green lips. But when you look at the original, you can see quite a big difference. And again, I wanted to go with the tropical look. I was thinking like Orange Island, something along those lines, or with the owl and Galarian versions of the older Pokemon. It's kind of going with something like that. So something that represents the original, but still has this new flair to it. Next, we have Articuno, and what I was kind of originally aiming to go with was something a little bit different, but then at the end of it, it just came to me like, let me take a whack at a shiny version of Articuno. So if you look, it is, oh, my bad. It is pretty much almost all the same color. It's just the camera kind of makes it look slightly different, but it's in hand. It's more like an icy blue, but the whole figure is painted in this icy blue paint. I left the eyes alone. But everything else from head to toe, wing to wing, talon to talon, is in fact all the same blue. And it does have like a very glossy tone to it, so it kind of makes me think of like a shiny or like a very iced over Articuno. And here we have the original one that doesn't really want to stand. Why won't you stand? It won't stand for it. There we go. So as you can see, there is a significant difference in between the original and my custom. And even if we just look, you can tell there's, I kind of use the paint brush strokes a little differently on it to kind of give it a more rougher look. And at the end of it, when the paint dried, it really did turn out not too bad, but it looks good to me. So there is Articuno. Now next is, if you've ever played the original Pokemon games or watched the original Pokemon show, there was a whole thing with Marowak, and there was a ghost Marowak. Sad story about Team Rocket going into Lavender Town, taking Mr. Fuji, and unfortunately a Marowak was lost in the process. I decided to kind of go with that look. It is got, the bone is about the same tone of purple. Oh, there we go. I lost focus. The bone is about the same color tone as the skull, but the body is this very, very nice tone of a very light, overly light purple. So I was going with a very ghost-like version of Marowak, and if we bring out the original one, you can see there's a big difference. I mean, again, I was going for a ghost type, and I know there is already existing a ghost type Marowak, but I was going for one that looks more like along the lines of like Gengar and Haunter, the more traditional looking ghost type Pokemon. So I left the eyes alone as kind of a representation of who it was prior to becoming a ghost. And again, the paint strokes I used really does stand out a little bit more in the light. But I kind of did some different tones of purple along the skull. I think it turned out pretty snazzy. I like it, and I'm pretty sure he'll like it too. So for one last look with them compared. Next we have my custom Dragonite. And you might be thinking, that's a little strange. Well, what I was going for with this was a mishap of an evolution from Dragonair to Dragonite. So Dragonite still has retained the blue and the white. In fact, I did a more vibrant white on his chest over the off white that the original one has, which I'll show you right here. There we go. So as you can see, I mean, it's almost like an off-white, off-yellow 10. It's the best way I can describe how that is, because his claws on his hands and his feet happen to be white, but it's just this is like an off-white or like a beige almost. Same color as his antennae. Now, the reason why I went with this color scheme for this version of Dragonite was because when I got him, he had been missing his antennae. So I filed it down a bit, and I painted the horn on his head white to represent more the one that Dragonair had. And it looked good. I was going to paint the inside. I was going to paint the insides white, but I felt like, well, you know what? The plain blue works really good on it. I mean, as you can see, I painted all up to the point. I painted his claws on his feet and on his hands. So I think that turned out really good. I was trying to come up with my own explanation to why, almost like an in-universe reason, and it could be just a mutation within the evolution from Dragonair to Dragonite. So, there we go. Again, there they are compared. I really like how it turned out. I might do another one for me personally, maybe later on down the road. And let's get on to the final Pokemon custom. And here we have the color scheme of the original Shiny Charizard. I mean, I was kind of going for the Gen 2 version, but then I decided to go with the one after. So he's got the purple skin still, but he's got the beige stomach and undertail, along with the red. There we go. You can actually see it in the light now. He's got the red on his wings instead of the other color that they went with. The inside of the mouth I left the same, but I did have to repaint his teeth slightly. There you go. You can see the original Takara Tomy. I mean, I had a blast painting this Charizard. Just for the fact that I was kind of going with something that was already pre-existing, but I kind of changed it up slightly, but at the end of the day, it is still modeled after the older version of the Shiny Charizard. And for comparison, straight from the Charific Valley, here we have the original Charizard figure. Unpainted, unchanged, unaltered. The one thing that I also left the same on the custom was the flame on his tail. It's the same. I figured I'd just leave it be. I mean, it already looks amazing. I don't think it could do any better. As you can see, I mean, they are pretty darn cool looking together. And I'm sure he'll love these custom figures. I might do more later on. I might even do some that I will more than just alter the paint color. I might kind of do something more along the lines with the Dragonite that I did the custom of, where, you know, he was already missing some things, and just kind of roll with it, change it up ever so slightly. And there they are from the front, facing each other, screaming at each other. I'm the original. No, I am. Actually, he's the original. You lose this one, but you still got the cool factor, Shiny Charizard. So there we go, and let's go ahead and bring out everyone else. All right, and here they are all together. The cool thing that I went with this was, much like in the game and also in the anime and manga, you can only have 6 Pokemon in your team. So it works perfect. I made exactly 6, but I also made something a little extra for him. And that is, let me put them all out of the way. I made a little display stand that you can place, you can place one in. And it's just not any play stand. It is a little Mount Moon. We even got a little entrance. There we go. We even got a little entrance in there. And Mount Moon, of course, is in the Kanto region. And in both the game, the manga, and the anime, you do go there. And there's fossils there. We have a imprint of 2 of the fossils. We got the Helix Fossil and we got the Dome Fossil. The Dome Fossil is kind of hard to see. The imprint that I made didn't turn out as good as I wanted it to. It's with the Play-Doh kind of, the way the Play-Doh dried essentially kind of goofed it up. But the Helix Fossil molding looked really great. I did add some really cool details. So walking in, there's a slight little indent, but then from going in there, there's a little path, a cool little pathway that goes onto the other side, heading to Cerulean City. There's a a lot of nice little molded detail that I did on the outside, giving it like a very rocky texture. So if you want, go ahead, you could put Charizard in there, or have everyone else standing around the outside of Mount Moon. I mean, I think it looks cool. I'm sure that my friend will enjoy these greatly. And if you enjoyed them, let me know what you think in the comment section. Do you like the color scheme that I went with them? Do you like the really cool customized Dragonite? Let me know in the comments. I'll post pictures on my Instagram. That is the Mighty Beastman. One word. There's an E in the. You can follow me on Twitter at the Mighty Beastman. Same spelling, no spaces. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please go ahead. Feel free to subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you are notified when any future videos or shorts, anything of the matter, are uploaded. And again, thank you so much for watching. I also, before I end the video, I did a second episode of Throwback Thunder Thursday, yesterday. There's a lot of days in that. And it was a cool little video talking about a showcasing of my original Pokemon cards. There was a couple Johtos in there, but it was the earlier Johtos. But everything else was all from the original sets. Go ahead, give that a peep. Let me know what you think of the cards in that video. So, again, thank you so much for watching. And remember, you gotta catch 'em all. Roll out.